Happy Thanksgiving, everybody, and it's going to be an interesting one. Some of you are going to have empty chairs at your family dinner table today because Kamala-supporting family members have decided not to show up. Many of you maybe didn't even get invited to Thanksgiving because you supported Donald Trump. And today we're going to be reacting to leftists who are defending their position on cutting off Thanksgiving because of the 2024 election. Let's talk about it.
What is going on here?
It's a Thanksgiving.
Didn't you get the invite?
Yeah, you better. Yeah, you better.
Guys, before we get into today's video, please like and subscribe. Yes, today we're going to be talking about an ever-growing phenomenon of people making the happy holidays not so happy after all because they can't stand to be around family members who disagree with them. We're going to jump right into our first video. As it is Thanksgiving, we're going to be hearing from a leftist who says, you know what? I can't do it this year. The politics has gotten in the way of my family relationships.
I'm not going home for Thanksgiving this year. I'm 31 and it's my first time standing up to my family like this, and it honestly feels like a huge relief. I'm not doing this to punish them or to be petty, but I did let them know that it just makes me too angry and upset to be around them right now. And this Thanksgiving, I simply have to excuse myself from the family table. I debated going to Thanksgiving and making a huge scene and having a blowout over politics, but in the end, I actually don't think that that's going to be effective or a good use of my energy. I genuinely feel that letting them know that this is really personal to me and it does affect me and that this is something that will keep me from family holidays is actually kind of a way to get through to like conservative boomer families more so than anything else. And my goal really isn't to change their mind because they've been pretty deeply entrenched in their value set for many, many years, and it's the one they indoctrinated me into. But with Thanksgiving coming on the heels of such an atrocious election, I just thought I would share that I'm doing something differently this year and that it's sad, but it feels right.
Sad, but it feels right. I don't know how those two things work out together, but let's get into some of the things she said. She said, first of all, she debated actually showing up to Thanksgiving and creating a blowout meltdown where she goes after her family members because of their politics. I gotta say, I'm glad she didn't go with option A, but I would prefer that she maybe show up to Thanksgiving and allow herself to set her politics aside so that we can sit with family and be thankful for the things that we're thankful for. And maybe you're not thankful or grateful for the fact that they voted for Donald Trump. And if we can exercise gratitude, we can accept the parts of our family that we love and that love us back and set the politics on the back burner. And there's just such twisted logic here. She's saying that she wants to use this as a mechanism to get through to her family, meaning that she probably is going to be missed. And it's not like she's going to be missed for her politics. She's going to be missed because there are parts of her that they love and that they want around, which is why they invited her to Thanksgiving. But she can't take on the parts of them that she loves. In fact, politics, I guess, takes over all of that, and she feels the need to exclude herself. It just sounds like a lose for you, to be honest. And I've dealt with this in my own family, people not being able to set aside politics and there being huge blow-ups or separations during pivotal times where we should be together and experiencing our family traditions or just being with one another. And what it becomes is that the people who show up to the event or the holiday are just saying, you know what, I wish so-and-so was able to set aside her politics for a moment to be here because we'd like her to be here. But if she can't, we feel pity for her. And she says she's not trying to punish them or be petty, but I can't think of any other words to describe exactly what it is she's doing. And while you may be punishing them because their granddaughter or niece or sister is not at the table, you're also punishing yourself. And it's a lesson that you're not going to learn for a very long time, so long as you are so obsessed with politics. And that's the unfortunate part of this. You're gonna get far older and realize how important family is, and you're going to long for those precious moments, those Thanksgiving dinners that you missed out on because of your own choices. But let's watch another one.
My brother and his fiance uninvited me from their wedding, and now I have the wonderful pleasure of uninviting them from holiday activities because they voted for Donald Trump. I just want to know what you guys think of the whole entire situation and if I'm being petty, if I'm being unreasonable. Just to give you guys a heads up, my brother gets free healthcare, my brother goes to school for free, and I helped him apply for all of those government programs. In addition to that, I gave my brother a free BMW SUV. He drives a free car, I pay for his car insurance, and I pay for his cell phone bill. In addition to that, he lives at home and completely relies on the financial assistance of my mother. So this boy has the audacity to not only vote for Donald Trump, who is against women like myself and my mother, but then he has the audacity, after my mother was crying all day yesterday, he comes home celebrating his victory and rubbing it in my mom's face. Now, I understand we all have different opinions and political views, but you do not go to the home of a woman who financially supports you, rub it in her face. Go ahead, laugh about it with your friends, laugh about it with your unemployed fiance. It has now been over a month that I cut my brother off and I no longer answer his phone calls because the only reason he called me anyway was when he needed money. And I know that's really hard to do. And I know right now a lot of people are going to have some very uncomfortable Thanksgivings and Christmases. But at the end of the day, I really encourage you all to protect your peace. I'm not saying that you need to cut out every single person in your life that doesn't agree with you politically. But if after this election, someone is literally taunting you, laughing at your face, and disrespecting you, regardless of what political party they are a part of, that person doesn't need to be in your life.
This seems like they have other problems in their relationship that have nothing to do with politics that have maybe made her feel more self-righteous in this choice given what happened in the 2024 election. And I do agree you shouldn't go around taunting people, but I also wonder what would she be doing had her candidate won this election? Very curious about that given her energy. And it's an energy that she gives off in the very top of the video when she says she's taking great pleasure in uninviting her brother to Thanksgiving. And I think about being in that situation and the people who find joy in that, there's something wrong with you. If I'm in the situation where I really don't like my brother or we're getting off on the wrong foot or he's taunting me over politics and I feel the need to uninvite him from something because it's such a huge problem, I wouldn't take joy in that. It would be an unfortunate situation that I feel the need to deal with in this way. But instead, she thinks this is some joyous occasion that she gets to cut off her brother. And she talks about her brother as if he's some form of leech on the family. You know, they're paying his bills, they're taking care of this, that, and the third for him. He's living with his parents. And there's kind of this assumption that he's proud that he's doing those things. And I would imagine for most men, that would not be a proud lifestyle to be leading. And maybe he doesn't feel the greatest about that, although we don't know because she seemingly hates her brother so much that she's not willing to be charitable towards him in any way, shape, or form. I think the one thing for a person who's kind of down bad like that and is relying on other people financially, a nice thing would be to sit across from them at the table at Thanksgiving and share your gratitude for those things. I don't know if he's that type of person, so I cannot speak to that. But it's really interesting to just want to beat down on somebody who you're claiming is not leading a very successful life. All in all, though, it sounds like she has other issues with her brother that transcend politics. If she's saying he only calls me when he needs money, he's rubbing this all in my face, we've gone back and forth, I've been uninvited to his wedding for reasons we do not know. You have other things to deal with. I don't know that you necessarily need to be making this video and making it about Trump, because to me it sounds like it's about way more things than that.
I just had to set my first big post-election boundary and say that I am not going to Thanksgiving. And the response that I got was, I know we all want the same things. We just have a difference of opinion in how to get there. And I just stared at it. Because how could you have paid attention in these last few months, in these last 10 years, and think that we all want the same things? Like, my kids are going to lose federal funding for their schools. My books are going to be banned. My daughter's safety is going to be put in jeopardy. My friends, if they have a miscarriage, won't be able to get care. My trans friends and LGBTQ friends are actively fleeing the country because they're fearful of their lives. I have a friend who's telling her daughter that she can't apply to certain schools because she doesn't know if it's safe for a brown girl to live there anymore.
Goodness gracious.
And we all want the same things. Like, how do you even begin to have that conversation if you are starting off on completely different planets? I don't have the headspace to do it right now. It's not in the best interest of my mental health, but knowing that there are people in my real life who honestly think that we just sort of disagree on taxes or something, I can't have that conversation. So where do you all stand? Any boundaries that you've set lately? Are you in this with me?
Oh, goodness. No, I'm not in it with you. I don't know about other people, but my goodness. All this aside, before we get into our arguments, you can't set the issues that you believe you're dealing with aside for one day, not even a day, a few hours to sit with your family, presumably people you have been with your entire life, to eat food together, nourish your bodies, share and speak about the things you are grateful for, to practice gratitude. And if you can't do that in the face of people you disagree with, that's a you problem. It is not a them them problem. And when people say we are all looking to achieve the same things, we just go about it by different means, I think they're talking about the bigger picture. They want people to be happy. They want people to be prosperous. They want people to be healthy. We all have very different mechanisms of getting there, but I think in general, most people would say that's what they're striving for, both in their political ideas, in their daily lifestyles, and how they treat people. That's what people are looking for. Now, you don't have to have a conversation about the places in which you fundamentally disagree at the Thanksgiving table. There are times and places for that, and Thanksgiving doesn't happen to be the time or the place. And I could go very deep into how this is just like foundational to leftism. It is the abandonment of social convention, tradition, and norms, so much so that they can't even be normal for a single day to sit at a table and have Thanksgiving dinner. And mind you, there are conservative family members who just can't put their politics away, and I'm sure they bring them to Thanksgiving dinner, and this year might be the most contentious one yet. But if we want to be strong, if we want to exercise patience, if we want to be the best part of ourselves or the best version of ourselves, we can show up to a table, even when somebody is antagonizing us or trying to bait us into conversations, remain calm, eat our food, and practice gratitude. In fact, the most impactful moments of us practicing gratitude are the moments in which we don't want to do it. It's those moments when everything inside you is telling you to be angry, to start a fight, to scream at them, to excommunicate them, to uninvite yourself or to uninvite them, that we take a breath and we go, you know what? A lesser version of me would do that. A worse version of me would do that. I'm not going to give in to my anger or these visceral emotions that I'm feeling. I'm going to set them aside, feel them, but allow something else to come to the forefront. But these people can't do it. Not even for one day. And many of them take pleasure in the fact that they are unable to regulate their emotions. And that's concerning. I can't even get into the many arguments she makes that are completely false about the conservative opinion on banning books or abortion or transgenderism. That's for another video, and we've covered these topics at length. But wow, her worldview is just so distorted that she can't even allow herself to exist in the reality that actually is before her. And that's wild to me. And it's so funny that this is packaged as a rejection of bad people in your life or of toxic family members when you are in fact showing that you're kind of a bad person and you're kind of toxic. They think this validates their vote for Kamala when it in fact validates your family's vote for Trump. They're voting against woke ideology and bad politics, yes, but they're also voting against this sort of simmering hate that seems to be lying underneath the surface in many leftists, and now it's at the boiling point, and you're proving to them exactly what they voted for was probably the right decision. Like, I wish I could show you this tweet that I had to respond to on X. Somebody was talking about the fact that they were cutting off an elderly neighbor. This is an elderly neighbor who was coming to their fellow neighbor and saying, I would love to spend Thanksgiving with you. But because that elderly neighbor voted for Trump, the person uninvited them. So what's going to happen to that elderly person who's just looking for a bit of human connection and probably someone to spend the holidays with in a time where they don't have family? You've cut them off because you didn't like their vote, but that makes you the good person? And I have to think that even if Kamala won, that elderly neighbor would still be knocking at your door, attempting to spend the holidays with you because they don't care that you voted for somebody that they disagree with, and they don't care that that person won. Maybe they do in a political sense, but it wouldn't affect your friendship and the connection that they've built with you. But you cut off the elderly person who has nowhere to go. Okay, all this to say, this is not the W that you think it is. It's not cool to be cutting off family over political opinions, and I understand that people do it, and they're going to continue to, and this year might be the greatest year yet that this happens, but you're not doing the right thing 9 times out of 10. There might be some extreme circumstances where the family is just attacking you and they can't let the politics go, and in that case, maybe you need to protect your peace and separate yourself from your family. But my goodness, challenge yourself with a little bit of discomfort if that's the way your family is. Be the bigger person. Turn the other cheek. What other phrase do I need to throw out for people to understand this? Because as I say many times on this channel, when you're on your deathbed, you're not going to be like, I'm so glad I cut off that family member and I didn't go to Thanksgiving in 2024. You're going to think, I wish my family was here because that's who you have at the end of the day. And there's no greater show of grace or tolerance that would make people more open to viewing your side than showing up, sitting across from them at the table, and having a conversation. We've seen in the wake of this election and Donald Trump winning and taking it home, many left-leaning people have just simply chosen to retreat into their echo chambers. They're doing it on social media, they're doing it with their friends, their peers, their classmates, and now we're seeing it with family in the holidays. And sure, you can retreat into your echo chamber if that's what makes you feel more comfortable, but what's going to happen is you become more radicalized, yet also more lonely at the same time. I don't want to live a life where I'm putting my ideas out into the world and they're just being bounced back at me, and I certainly don't want to experience that with family. I love that each person in my family is different and we have different views, and we can bring that to one dinner table where we're all eating the same meal, sharing our love from one another, but also talking about those different opinions. That's what's beautiful about family and human connection in general. So if you want to cut that off and end that part of your life, so be it. I guess that protects your peace. But life is not all about peace. In fact, we don't know true peace unless we understand discomfort, unless we face those things and tackle them. So sure, protect your peace if that's what you're really doing. But guys, those are just my thoughts. Drop your thoughts in the comments down below. Let me know if you're experiencing anything like this within your family or in your friend groups. I've seen a lot of people in the wake of this election say, if you're a Trump supporter, I'm cutting you off. I want nothing to do with you. And I've seen the devastation that lies on the other end of it for the people who are getting cut off, but also for the Kamala supporters who now don't really have that many people to go to and don't have diverse viewpoints in their life anymore. So let me know if you've experienced something similar, or if you're a Kamala supporter who's choosing to cut people off. Let me know why you're doing that. As always, I encourage healthy debate on this channel, so if you disagree with anything I said in this video, do get out, but do so respectfully. And if you like this video, like, subscribe, click the notification bell to be notified every single time I post a video for you guys, which is every day. And I will see you guys tomorrow. Happy Thanksgiving. Bye.
Yeah, you better. Yeah, you better.